Welcome to Modern Home Masterminds with beSpoke Brokers. I'm Shauna Glazier, designated broker and owner.
And I'm Brittany Williamson, associate broker at beSpoke Real Estate. Shauna and I are beSpoke Real Estate, but we're also your guides to modern luxury across the entire state of Arizona.
Each week, we chat with masterminds shaping modern spaces. Do you want to get a behind-the-scenes look at your design build team's processes? Open communication and teamwork will lead you to a successful project.
From architects to builders, designers, and more, let's explore the art of modern living together.
All right, welcome back, listeners. Would you pick up a magazine dedicated to showcasing the finest of architecture, design, and luxury living? If so, today's conversation with Renee Dee is a must listen to as she shares how she created a publication that celebrates the very best in the industry.
That's right. Renee is the founder of Iconic Life magazine, a luxury lifestyle publication that highlights the best in architecture, design, and the high-end living experience. With a keen eye for style and a passion for showcasing top talent in the design world, Renee has built a brand that attracts the industry's leading architects, designers, and visionaries. Over the past 6 years, Iconic Life has become a go-to source for design enthusiasts, offering a curated look at the luxury lifestyle and the talent shaping it.
All right, welcome, Renee.
Thank you. That's a great intro. I love that. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Well, it's fun to be on this side of the microphone.
Yeah, I mean, you were just saying you've done over 140 podcasts yourself, but rarely you get to be the guest.
Rarely I get to be the guest. So this is going to be really fun for me today.
I know, we're excited. Well, why don't we start by you just telling us a little bit about just behind the scenes, how you got started with Iconic Life magazine.
So I launched Iconic in 2018, and the idea at that time was at that point I had a digital marketing agency, and I thought I would launch a digital luxury lifestyle magazine celebrating living beautifully. And what I learned over about 2 years is that every client needs that 360 approach to a marketing mix, and print was the piece of it that was really making the difference for all the clients. And so we added print in 2020, which is a whole other story because we launched that in March of 2020, which is the optimal time to launch anything new.
Okay, old COVID.
And from there, it's just been kind of a wild ride. It's been wonderful. And so we launched print in Scottsdale in 2020. We launched Orange County in 2022. And then we launched Palm Desert just last week. So it's been great. But I have really enjoyed the publishing business. This is my second time in the magazine business. I had another title that I launched. Basically, I call it Ancient News a long time ago. Sold that in 2005. And so I had a little break from publishing, so it's good to be back.
Well, we're glad you're back.
Yeah, thank you. I love it.
For sure. It's interesting that you went back into print too, because I feel like a lot of publications, for a while everybody was like, oh, print is dead. It's all, digital, but it's not necessarily true.
It isn't. And you know what? I had to test the theory. So in 2018, when I was thinking about launching a print magazine, I was kind of likening it to, gosh, this is like opening up like a Blockbuster video rental, like not a good idea with all the streaming services out there. And so I thought there really was a solution that could be a great marketing solution for my clients that did not include print. And what I found out was that print was the heavy lifter in the results that the clients were generating. And so I surprised myself. And in some ways, I continue to surprise myself. I am beyond impressed with the stories that I get from my clients. And this may sound like hype, but it is just true that I have so many clients calling going, yeah, I got a call off this. I got a call off that. People pick up $3 million interior design jobs just by looking at something in the magazine. And I am very proud of this. So print continues to do very, very well. And as I tell everybody, when it finally is dead, which we don't know when that will be, I will be the first one to know. And I will let all of you know that it doesn't work anymore. And I'll sell something different. But for today, it's become a really important piece of the marketing mix for all my clients.
For sure.
It's working. So can you tell us a little bit, we talked on the phone before the podcast, about how you've seen kind of the design community, especially here in the Valley, evolve?
Oh my gosh. You know what? It's amazing. So kind of a funny little story. I did a podcast about a year ago with Brent Kendall, CP Druitt, and Mark Candelaria. And we were talking about, we called it an architect's roundtable. And as I was just kicking off that podcast, I said, oh my gosh, you guys, I have done this before. And they said, oh, really? Who was on it? And I said, well, it was 20 years ago, and it was Gordy Rogers, and it was Eddie Jones, and it was just some architects that aren't even with us anymore, George Christensen. And I said, I can't believe I'm old enough that I could be doing this podcast again. And they were all reminiscing about these legendary architects in our community. And so it was that conversation that really reminded me how we have evolved. And I think that, this has been a great community for design. I think 20, 30 years ago, we also saw a lot of not good design, some horrific design. And so I love that as a community, we have a much higher standard about what we're building, that people just don't accept building horrible homes anymore. And I think the design talent in this marketplace is superior. Working with a lot of architects in LA and Orange County, where you see a lot of talent, I hold our marketplace up to anybody. And so you see spectacular things.
Yeah, I love that. And a couple of the architects you just mentioned were, in fact, Brent's on later today. We're having him in here. We had Eddie in here. So
two of my faves.
Yeah. I think that's why we get along so well. We all know the same people.
Yeah.
Well, and admire the same people.
And admire. And I couldn't be an architect, but I enjoy the process of taking a look at design and appreciating what's done. And I am the person who loves to shoot a video in a home and just say, hey, show me the little corners, or how does this all fit together? I'm curious about that. And so I think our community's doing a great job.
When you're also a consumer, Eric Peterson mentioned when he was here that he's done some work for you in the past.
Yep. So I built a house in DC Ranch. Again, this is a little bit in the ancient news department. And Eric, it started out with Bing. So Bing was the original architect and Eric was on Bing's team. So Eric designed that house. And then I turned to him for 2 other projects. So and he's great to work with. I mean, again, we have just a great community of design here.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Iconic Design Awards?
Yes. So this is a passion project of mine, and I am so proud of how well this has been working out. So for years, I've been left sort of wanting more when it comes to design awards. So this year, we're in our 3rd year of design or of Iconic Design Awards. And so I feel like we've worked out some of the kinks, but over the many years, I've gone to design awards, and I don't want to name them, but let's just describe them as something like this: sitting at a horrible round table for 3.5 hours, watching a terrible, terrible award show where 5 people win all the awards because nobody else is eligible to win. And it's just terrible. Just awful representation for our community that's doing such great work. I feel like our community is operating at such a high level that I want to celebrate that with an event that is also high level. I don't think you should take all the most talented people in town and throw them in a Marriott ballroom and just think that that's a way to honor their talents. And so I've thought about this for many years. And 2 years ago, we launched the Iconic Design Awards, which celebrates excellence in architecture, interior design, landscape design, and product design. And what I wanted to make sure happened with these awards is that they would be awards with integrity. So I'm not bashful to say that a normal operating procedure with a magazine is you give the awards to all of your advertisers. That makes a lot of sense, right? I did not want to do that. I love my advertisers. I appreciate them so much, but I wanted to create an award that really meant something. So what we did with these awards is identified 4 different judging panels from around the country where we found top architects and interior designers to judge our awards. And then they got together, compared notes on what their scoring system was, came up with the winners. And in year 1, I was sitting on stage learning about the winners with all of the people who were at the event. And so very tense as well, because you don't know how this is going to turn out. But everybody really recognized that it was an award given by peers, industry peers. And we keep our judges' names a secret until after the awards. But you're going to be blown away, absolutely blown away when you see who's judging our awards this year. So I'm very proud of that. And
let's talk about the party aspect of it, because I've been to 2 of them. Brittany, I should get you to go.
Yes, I'm going
You
to
should
the next
go.
year
It's
for
so
sure.
fun.
I mean, the first one was the Scottsdale
Yeah.
air hanger. This last one was at the Scottsdale Museum.
Yeah, so Scottsdale Center for Performing Arts. So we do our awards there. We do a really elegant arrival cocktail party just to kind of get everybody in the building. And then we go into the theater for the show. Mm-hmm. And then you're talking about the celebration lounge party that happens afterwards, which it was great to have you there.
Yeah.
You looked great. And it's, I want everybody to dress up and treat it as the biggest night out of the year. I want it to be the design industry's biggest night out. And so we honor each other by getting dressed up and showing up for each other.
And also the trophies that they gave Alfonso, what's his last name?
Yeah, so Alfonso Verduzco, who is a great designer out of Oaxaca, Mexico, he works with a lot of artisans down there for his product design. And so he had approached me in year 2 and he said, Renee, I'd love to help you with the design of these awards. And he came up with like 20 or 30 designs, really beautiful things. And of course, when you have a designer involved, nobody's thinking about what the cost of these would be or what it would be like to produce the awards. Let's put it this way. They look amazing. So they are stunning, stunning awards. It probably took as much effort to produce, for him to design and for us to get these awards produced.
Is he doing it again this year?
He is going to do it again this year. We're trying. Yeah.
Funny enough, he's my neighbor. We did not know that. I ran into him like walking around. But he has some other really cool products that.
He's got a beautiful furniture line. If you've seen that,
and
the tile line is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And he's got an art for presenting what it is that he does. So there's no way you can't fall in love with Alfonso when you meet with him. And so it was an easy sell for me to work with him on the awards.
So just all around, a very bespoke experience is what your that celebration is and those awards.
Yes. And we want to work with the very best of the best. So bespoke experience is exactly how I would put it. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm excited because we're going to have Alfonso on as well.
Yeah, he's going to be a guest on.
Yeah.
So fun. Well, I could tell you his whole story. So as a magazine publisher, I know everybody's story. So I'll save it for Alfonso to tell you, but you're going to enjoy him. He's really a great guy. And what about those awards? I still can do bicep curls with those awards at the office. It's awesome.
It's no joke. It's not an acrylic stick in the back of your shelf award. That's for sure.
And I want to make sure that I give a shout out to Alan Rosenthal from Linear Fine Woodworking, who produced all those awards. I mean, tireless effort. I mean, when Alan says yes to Renee, I'm sure he was like, oh, this couldn't be that bad. They spent a lot of time producing these awards, and he was so committed to making sure that they were amazing. So a lot of credit goes to Alan for making those as amazing as they are.
All right. Well, shout out to him. And then do you want to say anything about if people are submitting for this award? Is there a time cutoff, or when is the...
So the portal is open right now. So if you go to iconiclife.com and you go to the awards tab, you'll find the submittal portal, and it's open until May 4th. I will tell you, we got our first entry yesterday. These awards make me so nervous because nobody enters until the last 2 weeks. So the portal is open usually for about 3 months and nothing happens. And we just start getting a little nervous.
What are the categories?
So there's a number of categories in the 4 main categories. So architecture, interior design, landscape design, and product design.
This is a direct call to all of our listeners.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do your submittal now on the website.
Do them a little bit earlier and then we won't be so nervous.
Yeah. Well, it kind of leads me into what my next question is how do you go about curating this, attracting these top designers? Are you reaching out, like, do you do a community outreach, or how have you gone about that?
We've done a little bit of everything. I've been in this community for about 30 years. So first of all, I feel like so many people in the design community are personal friends. So you start there. And then the next outer ring for me is my clients. And so we do that. We reach out there. And then because we're a marketing company as well, we're marketing our awards on social media, of course, in our print magazine, on our digital assets, e-blasts. We're a little bit shameless in our promotion because we get out there and just promote like crazy. But what's important to me is that there's not any specific, you don't have to be a member of a certain association to enter. And I feel like that gives a really competitive environment, and it gives the opportunity to meet some new people too. We had some people who won awards last year, 2 people where I literally said, who is that? And it was wonderful because it exposes us to all this great new talent too.
Yeah, some of the newcomers, because I think, everybody knows these guys that are fellows and, and they have all these accolades, but some of the new kids on the block, I can imagine.
Yeah, I love that it's open and you don't have to advertise with your magazine either. It just keeps it fair. And
absolutely. And thank you for mentioning that. You don't have to advertise with the magazine. So you just have to pay for your entry to get in there. So it keeps it a very even playing field. Mm-hmm. And really the only criteria is the work has to be done in Arizona. It has to be done by Arizona people. So it could even be a project done by an Arizona architect that is in California. It's just got to be people who are in Arizona.
So what can people expect when they pick up a copy of Iconic Life? What is kind of, I know we talked earlier about one of your issues is the design issue, but the others are about other things.
So if you look at the Arizona market to start, so we've got 7 issues a year. One of those issues is Iconic Home, which is our annual home issue, which is all about building a custom home. We even go so far as to have worksheets in that issue. So we want it to be kind of that companion piece for people that are building a custom home. You both know when people are building, they start ripping out tear sheets and they either carry around a book or a folder or a notebook or something. So we want that particular issue of the magazine to be their companion when they're building a custom home and to utilize the resources that are in there. So that's the first experience we want them to have. As it relates to Iconic, we're a luxury magazine. And so I always say when you go to Saks Fifth Avenue, they don't throw your purchase into a Safeway bag. And so I really feel like a luxury magazine needs to feel like a luxury magazine. So I'm in my third decade of referring to myself as the material girl in the publishing world. I never met a paper thickness that I didn't like. So
I love that.
So we spare no expense. I guess there would be other people that would see it a more economical endeavor if we were to reduce that. But I feel like the thick paper quality that we have with the magazine gives it that luxurious feel. And I want people to value this when they get it at their house, to say this feels important. This feels like something that's suitable for my coffee table. And if they keep it on their coffee table, then people are going to get in there and read it.
Yeah, it was funny. I was describing you to Helen, our assistant, earlier this morning, and I was like, she's very tall, very blonde, very shiny.
Oh.
And I mean that in the best way. Like you come across as luxury personally.
Thank you. I love it. And, I love the chance to tell all these stories about the people that are making our world beautiful. The other thing that's interesting is people always say, gosh, how do you come up with all the content ideas? Is it really hard? I'm like, oh my gosh, that's absolutely not the hard thing. That's the easy thing. We could probably publish 20 magazines a year with all the ideas and all the content that we could potentially include. So the easiest part is publishing the magazine and being able to tell all these great stories. The hard part is curating and leaving some stuff out. Yeah.
Okay, deciding what stays out.
Yeah.
All right. We'd like to do a couple rapid fire questions. You up for that?
I'll do it. Let's do it. All right.
Okay. What does the word iconic mean to you?
A long and lasting, enduring classic.
I know, right? She's done that pitch before. What is your favorite luxury brand in any industry? Fashion, home design, anything?
Oh my gosh, that is a stumper. Hermes, to me, is an incredible luxury brand just because of how it's able to hold its value. I love luxury brands. Ferrari is another one. I love luxury brands that seem to improve over time or appreciate over time. When you make the purchase, it seems to be worth more later. I think that's really cool. I'm a fashion girl, so I love everything. I mean, Jimmy Choo, Allison Olivia, Veronica Beardsley. I mean, these are my little everyday, except all my little everyday go-tos. But I like all things nice. And when I was a kid, my mom used to say, she's like, where did you get this? Because we grew up in a very Midwestern middle-class family. She's like, how can you go to the mall and just intuitively always find the very best, most expensive things? How do you sniff this out without any background? And I've just always been the person that likes the feel of things.
Feeling just, you can sense what the quality is.
You can sense it.
But
yeah.
I like what the first two things you said about the Ferrari, like it's the same with real estate. Like it appreciates, it holds its value.
Especially if the homes are well built. I mean, we talk all the time about a lot of the properties that we sell, the fit and finish. Mm-hmm. You can just tell the difference in some builders and others.
You can really tell. Yeah.
All right. Favorite luxury travel destination?
Ooh, I'm going to go with Fiji for now. I took a solo trip to Fiji 6 or 7 years ago, and I continue to think about that trip because it was luxurious because you couldn't contact anybody, you couldn't reach anybody. It was just completely decadent. Every day you woke up with nothing to have to do. Of course, opportunities to do the things you want to do, and I think that's the ultimate luxury, to be able to wake up and say, well, what do I want to do today? What would make me happy today? So that would be a great luxury trip.
It didn't stress you out not having emails or texts?
It did. I had an almost anxiety attack. So on this trip, I made it a point to turn off my phone and I alerted everybody I was going to do that. And right before I did it, I started getting a little heart.
I can see Shauna panicking already just asking about it.
It's a fascinating experience to have an unplugged vacation, by the way. And it takes a little bit of time to get into, but then once you get into it, it's amazing the thoughts that you have and the little mental journeys that you can go on when when you don't have that constant companion that you can refer to. You have to look inside and you have to have conversations with yourself if you don't have anybody else to have a conversation with.
I love that.
That's a true luxury.
Yeah, for sure. If you could only write about one topic for a year, what would it be?
It would be architecture. I have a secret plan that I'd love to launch a national architecture magazine one of these days. And I haven't been seriously quiet about it. just such a big effort. That's okay.
Now it's out there.
That's okay.
Right?
You know what? You gotta put it out there. Once you say it, then that means that it could potentially happen. I feel like on the national scene, we still just don't have a great magazine besides Architectural Record that really celebrates this amazing architecture. I think it's interesting that Architectural Digest is an interior design magazine. So I'd like to be the person behind creating an incredible magazine that celebrates this insane level of design that we're seeing today.
Okay, well, let us know. We might want to partner with you on that or help you launch that for
There
sure.
we go. Okay, well, there's an idea. You said it here.
All right. All right. What's one luxury you can't personally live without?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. What's one luxury I can't live? Well, 5-star hotels. Because if I were to go, so if I'm traveling and I walk into a hotel and it doesn't look just right, I could either be reduced to tears or I'm just going to go home. So I can't stay in a place that's icky. So I guess that's a luxury that I can't live without. A luxury. If I had the luxury of time, I would say that's the luxury that I can't live without, but I haven't mastered achieving the luxury of time yet.
Yeah. It's a great answer.
What would it be for the two of you?
Skincare.
So that was my first thought. I just went there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first thing that came to mind
Yeah.
because it is a luxury to be able to do that. Travel.
Yeah, mine's probably like time doing the things that I want to do, like being on my bike. Like I would lose my mind if I didn't take that time. And I feel like that's a luxury that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah, the great outdoors.
Yeah.
I thought another one that I absolutely wouldn't live without because in COVID I wouldn't even do it either, but hair color.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Dye blonde.
Same.
Yep. All right. Well, we are at the end of our podcast. We really appreciate you coming
thanks.
on. I know it's like time flies, right?
It does fly.
We are going to link all of your contact information in our show notes, but if you want to, you can tell our guests where they can find you.
Always at iconiclife.com. And then our social handle is Iconic Life Mag. And so those are the best places to find us.
Great.
And keep an eye out for us in your mailbox.
Yeah. Where can they pick up a magazine?
All over town. So we've got about 90 distribution points across town, and then we're mailing into homes as well. Always, if you can't bump into it someplace, just stop by the office. We love it when people do that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Will do. Thanks, Renee.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is really fun.
All right, that's it for today's episode of Modern Home Mastermind. If you've enjoyed the show, please like, rate, and subscribe.
And thanks so much to our guests for sharing her insights, and to you, our listeners, for learning about everything modern with us.
And if you're ready to take the next step in your real estate journey, please reach out to us at beSpoke Real Estate. And until next time, keep living, loving everything modern.